Gotta get me one of those. What's up, guys, and check out what just showed up in the mail. It's the Black Series Heavy Infantry Mandalorian from the Disney Plus Mandalorian show. Now, when I first saw the leaked pics of this figure, I was like, that's cool, I'll take one, please. Then I saw him on the show and was like, take my money, take my money. Yeah, he's really cool. Oh, and a fun fact, this heavy dude is actually voiced by Jon Favreau, who also is the director of the show, who's also Happy Hogan in the MCU, who also directed the very first Iron Man movie. So it's kind of fitting that this guy pulled an Iron Man at the end of the episode. But anywho, I am super stoked to get this figure, so let's get this review started. To start with box one, we get an unusually sized package for an unusually large figure. Here's one side with a D2 designation and the other sides that don't have anything really special going on. And here's back with some wording there and a nice big picture of the Mandalorian version of the Hulk and some Lego Jumbo. And there he is, guys, out of the package, and man, he is an imposing figure. He's also really awesome looking, and I hope we see more of him in the show. But until then, let's go and take a closer look at this figure. Now, starting with the head, whew, just look at all those details. It is just wowzers. Man, they did a good job on this. You can see they even added in some sculpted in whatever that is at the bottom of the visor, and the battle damage paint just looks so awesome. I love it, and this teal blue accent looks great as well. And just check out just everything, the details. Got more battle damage. It's sculpted right in. That's not paint or anything. That's sculpted right in. The paint app on the back looks great. The little side pieces look great. Just the entire figure. Whoo, look at that battle damage. Just wow. And then you have that thing right there. It's actually pretty stiff, so hopefully it doesn't break off too easily. It looks pretty thick too. And ooh, just look at that. Look at that strip of paint right down the center of his helmet. It's just perfectly applied and just clean. Wow. And moving into the body, we get that awesome Mandalorian armor, and just look at all that sculpting and detail. It just looks fantastic, and the battle damage paint applications look great as well. Whew. Really liking this figure. He's like a photocentric figure. Now, this piece right here looks to be glued on. It's just a separate piece, but it's very solidly glued on, so you don't have to worry about that falling off. And moving into the back here, we don't get any more paint, but you still got lots of that sculpted battle damage features all the way there. As you can see, little wrinkles. I guess that's supposed to be cloth. And the peg hole for his jetpack. And moving into the arm, we get more awesome detail, and you get a perfectly printed Mandalorian symbol right there. The edges are just perfect. I love how they did that. More battle damage up there. This top piece is actually soft, so you can actually kind of bend it around his armor just like so, which is great. You got more little wrinkles right here for his cloth, and his gauntlet here just looks amazing. Look, you got little buttons there like a data pad. All this weathering, the black wash there to make it look dirty and just beat up. Got, looks like the flamethrower. You never use that in the show, not yet at least, but man, that'll be awesome if he uses that. And then of course on this side you have the peg that connects to his backpack, jetpack, whatever that is, probably the flame tube. And on the other arm you get another shoulder piece, although this one is missing the Mandalorian symbol, but it does have that battle damage paint, which is great. Also soft, and you can see it connects just at the bottom right there. Looks like it's glued in, so you don't have to worry about it popping off, but even if it does, you can probably just glue it right back in. Got some cloth wrinkles just like the other side. His gauntlet on this side is a little bit less detailed. Well, I flipped through that too fast. A little bit less detailed, but it does have a little bit of paint apps, so it's not too bad there. And then you got his glove here with the teal on his hand, which is pretty sweet. And moving into the belt, the details continue, and I'm really liking how they made this belt, especially these pouches here. You can see they're actually a different color from the rest of the belt. That's a lighter brown, and they even added these gold little dot paints for the snap closures, which is just like wowzers. And of course on the back here you have what looks to be kind of a leather cloth here. They actually sculpted it to look like leather, as you can see the texture there, and they even added some frayed ends. And it's actually pretty soft too. You can actually bend it up there, as you can see, so you can probably make him sit down if you needed to, although some of his booty paint rubbed off onto it, which is kind of a meh, but oh well, it's hidden underneath, so oh well. And in case you're wondering, the belt is actually anchored down but not glued on. If you look here, you can see the little peg right there in the back, and then also in the front right there, there's the peg, and if you want to, you can actually kind of pull it up and then pop it over out of the pegs, as you can see, and you can see the little slot that holds it in. So if you needed to get some extra leg room or something like that, or whatever not, you can actually move the belt up if you need to, and then it slides right back down when you don't. And moving into legs, just look at these thigh pieces. It's just like, wow, they're so thick, and it's got lots of battle damage, and then just scarring, and just sculpting is just, whew, man, just can you imagine how much Beskar it probably takes just to make the leg piece right there? Probably make Boba Fett's entire armor set with just one piece. And the knee pads look great as well, with fantastic sculpting and lots of battle damage paint applications, and I love the weathering that they did on it. It's just like, it goes all the way down this boot right here. It's just really well done and pretty impressive. I mean, this is a $30 figure, so it's a $10 premium over your regular Black Series, but considering the amount of paint applications and weathering and just details in the plastic, because he's such a big figure, I think I'd like to see him make more. And moving into articulation, he has a double jointed head, one ball joint at the head here and one at the neck, so it gives him nice range of motion. As you can see, you can go that far that way, that far that way, that far back, lift his head up a little bit, and that far forward with it down, and of course spinning in a circle. And his arm spins in the usual circle as well, and it goes about that far up with the armor piece bending out of the way. Thankfully, got that shoulder joint, and you can see he actually has a butterfly joint as well, giving him even more range of movement, which is awesome. His elbow has the new Hasbro standard extra long cut, giving him that extra range without having a double joint, and his hand also spins in a circle and does the flapped double, but not quite as much because of the armor pieces, but he can go that way, so that's kind of cool. But his other hand does the forward and back for pistol aiming, and his elbow also spins in a circle too. And for his waist, he comes with a single ball joint that gives him quite a bit of movement, very stiff at first. When you break it in, he can go that far back, that far forward, quite a bit sideways, check that out. And it also spins in a circle, but like I said, it's very tight to begin with, so make sure you're careful before you do that. And at full extension back, you can ever so slightly see that little piece of plastic shard right there, but if you let go, it disappears, so that could be an issue for some if you want the maximum articulation, although bending them forward is non-issue. And what's kind of nice too is when you bend them sideways, there's actually more detail sculpted right in, way up there to the top, so they did a really great job on this figure. And his legs go that far forward, but not back at all because of his big badonkadonk. He has very impressive splits that are not hindered whatsoever by his little belt pieces. And he has a usual thigh swivel right there so that his thigh can rotate, but it doesn't go all the way because of his armor. And also be careful, because I don't know why, but the way it's designed gives so much leverage that, as you can see when you bend it, you see how it's kind of bending on that peg joint there? You could easily snap it. There's just too much just slack room right there and in the front that, yeah. So be careful when you're twisting his thigh for the first time, because it's very tight and you might snap that peg if you're not careful. And he has the usual double jointed knee, which is also very tight. Okay, there we go. At least he's a thick figure, so it's less likelihood of breaking that. And his foot goes that far forward. It maxes out because of that piece right there, but it can go quite a bit back, as you can see, and also spins, but also just kind of hits that point right there and stops. And for accessorizers, he comes with one, but man, it is a doozy, and there's a lot of detail to cover on this one accessory. First off, the cannon portion plugs in right there, as you can see, and you can just kind of wiggle that off there, although do be careful when you're wiggling. I did get some stress marks right there, as you can see, because I wiggled it sideways because it's a tight fit, so be careful about that. But anyways, just look at this jetpack. It's like, whoo, man, just the details, just I'm kind of speechless, because this is just a really great accessory. It actually looks like a Naboo fighter, actually, when you think about it. I just noticed that. But anyways, you got the peg right here, which goes into his back, and then also you have this little line here, which looks to be kind of like the fuel line for his little flamethrower. It's pretty nicely detailed. You got the peg on this side, rotates, and if you really want to, you can actually pull that out, and then it just pops out. It's a pretty simple joint there, so pop that back in. Then you have this cable line here, which connects to the cannon, which kind of looks like one of Dr. Octopus's little arms there. It looks pretty awesome. Although one thing to be careful of is it does not rotate from here, and it does not pop off as well, although it does rotate on the cannon portion side, which is awesome. Rotates all the way around, but it is very susceptible to stress from stretching. Just take a look right here. I didn't even do it that much. You can see they're white. They weren't like that before. You can kind of see as I move down, it's less white because it was already bent. But yeah, be careful. Oh, there you go. That's what it should look like. Nice and gray. And then over here, it's like you see the whiteness from the stretching. So yeah, I was just kind of posing them just for fun, and then I got some of those stretch marks. So definitely be just cognizant when you're, you know, moving it around, because I just kind of did like this, and then it just caused those stretch marks in the back. So yeah, be careful. But the cannon is so awesome. Just look at all that details. Loving the sculpting and everything. Even the paint job on the front here. I love that little kind of bluish paint that they made to make it look like it's kind of blued from all the heat from the blaster fire. Lots of detail on this side as well. You got a handle there, and then you have a handle here, and then the handle up here actually rotates in a circle. You can kind of move it out of the way. Then you kind of put it that way to give him that pose. You got a little trigger right there. So it's really, really nicely designed, just cannon. Then of course you got that peg right here to plug it into the jetpack. And no surprise, it's actually pretty stiff too, because it's just really thick plastic, just like the figure. And installation is really simple. You simply just plug the peg into the hole in his back like so. Press, and then that's about as far as it goes there. Very small gap. And then you get this hose here, and then you just, it's actually, you can see there's a slot. There's a flat spot right there, and then a round end, and then this side has the flat spot around, and just make sure those match up, and you should have no problem plugging it in. No problem. Okay, there we go. Had a little trouble there. It's a pretty tight fit. Then of course you take his cannon right here, and then you just plug that into the slot right here. And then there you go. That is what he looks like with his jetpack attached, and he looks great already. And this is just standby mode with all his gear just kind of hooked up and hanging there, not ready for battle or anything. And for those wondering, he still has nice range of motion even with this tube attached. As you can see, his arm goes all the way around, almost, except for that little stopper point right there. And his elbow still can rotate, as you can see, just like so. And then just like so. Don't want to do too much so it, you know, doesn't tear. And then you can still bend his elbow, and it looks fine. And just, yeah, just look, it's just great articulation, great design. And then we can pop the cannon off here, and you can see the range of motion on this Dr. Octopus arm here. Now you don't want to go this way, because you can probably see the tension already. It'll definitely tear that. You just want to ring it around to the front, and that's about as much as you want to go, because anything else might actually tear the joint. So that's pretty good range of motion though. And here he is in his soon to be iconic blasting ready for war pose, and he just looks so good. I mean, it's just like, it's so imposing and just so well detailed. I think it's actually better than some SH Figure Arts qualities. It's like Hasbro really outdid themselves with this, and it's only $10 more. And check it out, teamwork. Mando can blast him while he just torches him with his flamethrower. This is the way. Oh, and something kind of neat too is if you take the blast effects from this 80-year Marvel Legends Iron Man right here, just plop those right off. They're actually a perfect fit for the little holes right there. Just plug those in, and now you can get some flying effects and make him go all Iron Man, like almost legitimately, because he took Iron Man's little blaster thing. So this thing's just dangling black. Check that out. It's just like the end scene in the show. I gotta get me one of those. Alright, hold on. Let me see if I can do a better job recreating that scene. Gotta get that perspective right there. Alright, and gotta get me one of those. I'm having too much fun with this. And now for some comparisons. Here he is next to his fellow Mandalorian and Black Series figures, and man, just look at him. He's just massive. And here he is next to some Marvel Legends and various other figures. Well guys, this is one spectacularly awesome figure for an equally fantastic show. This figure is worth every penny of his premium price. Now I really hope Hasbro has more Team Mandalorian figures coming, and here's hoping that they all look this good. I think Hasbro's hit a new milestone in quality. Anywho dudes, the next Mando episode should be out soon, so let me know what you guys think of the show and this figure. And until the next video, thanks for watching, and peace.